Eugene Gladstone O'Neill was born into the theater life, with his father, James O'Neill, being a stage actor. Like most actors, O'Neill was born into a life of hardship and loss. Not long after his birth, his mother, Mary Ellen, developed a very severe addiction to morphine. For most of his younger years, he went on the road with his father. His father went on large tours, including portraying a role from the Count of Monte Cristo shortly after Eugene was born. Once he turned 7, however, he was sent to begin his studies at various boarding schools. After only being admitted to Princeton for about 10 months, he left. He spent the next years going through the motions. He took many travels and was constantly drinking. It was during this time that he had a son with his wife, Kathleen Jenkins. Eugene fell ill with tuberculosis and found inspiration in the works of August Strindberg. Eugene was a bit of a perfectionist when he wrote his plays, sometimes rewriting them a dozen times before considering them complete. Even so, he wrote 20 long plays and several more short plays within a period of 23 years, spanning from 1920 to 1943. He was responsible for bringing realism into the American drama and including characters that lived on the outskirts of society, which were not previously showcased in America. A major inspiration for a majority of O'Neill's early works came from his tragic family life, which he translated into his many complicated tragedies. He did this most famously in his first successful work, Desire Under the Elms. O'Neill broke records with his writing, including being the first American playwright to win the Nobel Prize for Literature, an incredible achievement. August Wilson was born Frederick August Kittle in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on April 27, 1945. His mother, Daisy Wilson, was of African American heritage, and his father, Frederick Kittle, was a German immigrant. As a child, Kittle attended St. Richard's Parochial School. When his parents got divorced, he, his mother, and his siblings moved from the poor Bedford Avenue area of Pittsburgh to the mostly white neighborhood of Oakland. After facing the relentless bigotry of his classmates at Central Catholic High School, he transferred to the Colony Vocational High School and later to Gladstone High School. When he was 15 years old, Wilson pursued an independent education at Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh, where he would earn his high school diploma. Following his father's death in 1965, a 20-year-old Frederick Kittle adopted the pen name August Wilson, reportedly in homage to his mother, and declared himself a poet. In 1968, Wilson and a friend, Rob Penny, co-founded the Black Horizon Theater. The following year, Wilson married Brenda Burton. The couple welcomed a daughter, Sakina, in 1970. They divorced 2 years later. Wilson remained primarily focused on making it as a poet, largely to no avail, until moving to St. Paul, Minnesota in 1978. August Wilson's crowning achievement is the Pittsburgh Cycle, his series of 10 plays that charts the African American experience throughout the 20th century, with all of the stories being set in Pittsburgh, except for one, which is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. That play is set in Chicago. The Pittsburgh Cycle is also called the Century Cycle. The plays set individually in different decades and aim to relay the Black experience throughout the 20th century, as well as raise consciousness through theater and echo the poetry and everyday language of Black America. Wilson wanted to create an atmosphere through the power of theater as a channel for the community to come together to bear witness to the events and current unfoldings. The plays are not connected because they are consecutive stories or continuations of work. However, characters do repeatedly appear at different stages of their lives and create an offspring of previous characters, such as the figure of Aunt Esther, which is the most featured in the cycle. Another dominating character is that of an apparent mentally impaired individual, such as Gabriel in Fences and Headley in Seven Guitars. Here we have all of the plays in the Pittsburgh Cycle laid out. They are organized by the decade that they are supposed to represent, and the year that the play is actually written is laid out on the right. So the first play in sequence is The Gem of the Ocean, followed by Joe Turner's Come and Gone, then Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, The Piano Lesson, Seven Guitars, Fences, Two Trains Running, Jitney, King Hedley II, and Radio Golf ties it off at the end. Both of these incredible men raised consciousness through theater, Eugene using his talent with realism, and August by focusing on the struggles of the Black community. Both of these men faced hardships and struggles throughout their childhood and transferred from school to school growing up. Their plays are similar in that they focus on struggles that are not commonly focused on during the time and focus on a group of people rather than a simple plot line.